Hello Year 6, this is Mrs. Klein about to read Tuesday the 9th of February's book talk. So I'm going to screen share with you now and hopefully you have a copy of the text in front of you. So let's do screen share, here we are, share. Right, I'm just going to read the questions first, which are down here for, okay, so hopefully you've got those in front of you. Okay, quickly, number 1, why do you think Willie stared in amazement at the fields? Number 2, match the verb to its synonym. So you've got the verbs down here, astound, absorb, gaze, and heap. And you've got to match it to the synonym, the correct one. Interest, pile, surprise, and stare. And 3, describe the ways in which the environment described in this extract is different from the environment Willie is used to. Use evidence from the text, so what you read in the text, and also your own knowledge about life in the cities to support your answer. So I'm going to read the text now in front of you. It's an extract from Good Night, Mr. Tom. And we're all familiar with this, this story. So here we go. I'm going to read it out loud. Won't be long, said Tom, and he took the haversack from Willie and left him and Sammy sitting on the stone steps. Willie stared in amazement at the fields, his thin woolen socks heaped around his ankles. As Tom came out, he became conscious of them again and quickly pulled them up. Sammy sniffed at the food in the bag, and Tom tapped him tenderly on the nose and slung it on his back. If I start getting my stride up again, he said to Willie, you just call out. It was a long, quiet road, the silence broken only by the whirring of a tractor in the distance. They turned to the right and walked down a tiny lane. William's attention was drawn to a small brown bird in one of the hedgerows. Tom stopped and put his finger to his lips, and they stood and watched it hopping in and out among the changing leaves. That's a hedge sparrow, he whispered. See its beak? Very dainty. The bird looked up and flew away, and shy. They carried on down the lane towards a farm. Sammy was already sitting, waiting for them, his tail thumping the ground impatiently from side to side. They pushed open the long wooden gate where he sat. It squeaked and jingled on its hinges, and they swung it behind them. Tom led Willie round the back of a large cream-coloured stone house towards a wooden shed. Tom led Willie round the back of a large cream-coloured stone house towards a wooden shed. A middle-aged man with corn-coloured hair and the bluest eyes Willie had ever seen was sitting on a stool milking one of a handful of cows. Willie gazed at the gentle way he fingered the udders and at the warm white liquid spurting down into a bucket underneath. Mister, he said, tugging at Tom's coat sleeve. Mister, what's that? Tom was astounded. Ain't you never seen a cow? But Willie didn't answer. He was too absorbed in watching the swollen udders decrease in size. I'll be wanting extra milk from now on, Ivor, he said. So there we go. So let's go back to the questions. Why do you think Willie stared in amazement at the fields? So think about Willie's previous experiences and whether he'd seen that sort of field and countryside before. Match the verb to its synonym. So a little top tip. Find the verbs that you're familiar with. So I would say maybe you know what gaze means, and heap as well, and find words that you think have a similar meaning from this side, and then work on the couple of words that are left that you're not so sure about. And 3, describe the ways in which the environment described in this extract is different from the environment Willie is used to. Use evidence from the text and your own knowledge about life in the cities to support your answer. So you've got to find evidence from the text to describe how the environment is different. So think about the countryside being what the noises he might hear, what he sees, where it's happening, the extract, the sort of description that's going on and the scenery around, and think how that's different to what Will is used to. And think about the countryside and the air quality that's there and what you know about the cities at the time, okay? If you want to, I would suggest when you answer your questions, really think about using the question to write in your answer, so the question stem to help you with your answers. So for example, why do you think Willie stared in amazement at the fields? I think Willie stared at the fields in amazement because, all right? So you're using that question to help you write a proper sentence in your answer. This question 3 is probably the harder one out of the 3. So you need to really think about making your answers detailed enough. So it's the evidence from the text. So you've really got to make sure you get that, and your own knowledge. So you've got to use that to write a good answer. If you're really, really stuck, have a go. And then there are some example answers underneath, and you can see the sort of detail that's included in there. All right, but have a go first by yourself. and then you can always check your answer and think how it compares to the model answer. All right, then we'll have a good book talk, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.